Nigeria Info 99.3 Lagos. Good morning to you once again. Welcome back to Dailies today, 7:32 from our studios here. I'm Sheriff Quadry.
I'm Jimi. Disu. Good morning.
So you can watch us on Facebook. You can also watch us on YouTube as well because we're streaming live on those two platforms. As you watch and listen, please drop your comment. We'd like to hear from you. Let's start with, by the way, how to watch. Just type in Nigeria Info 99.3 in the search box and then it will pop up. You can watch live there. Better still, just subscribe to our YouTube channel and then like our Facebook page so that they notify you anytime we're on air. We'll start with this story here from the Daily Trust newspaper, page 4. Tinubu's 48 ministers to gulp 8.6 billion naira in 4 years.
Okay, so there's nothing much to be said here that hasn't been said in the past. But like I said, at the beginning of this ministerial exercise, the president, he knows what he wants. We don't know whether what he wants is what we want, but he knows what he wants, and he has used his powers to provide the wherewithal for him, for him to achieve that. But it's at a big price, because this story in the Daily Trust says that the administration will spend 8.63 billion on ministers' salaries and allowances over the next 4 years, according to the findings by the paper, and it says here that experts who spoke to Daily Trust said the large cabinet contradicts President Tinubu's promise of reducing the cost of governance. I thought that was what he said would happen, but instead it's ballooned. And guess what? This is the first time, according to the Daily Trust, a federal cabinet will be made up of 48 ministers since the return of democracy to the country in 1999. It says here that Buhari had 42, Goodluck Jonathan had 33. Okay, 9 of them, of course, were carried over from the Yar'Adua days. And it says that ministers' pay and allowances hit 1.5 billion naira each in 4 years, less Esther codes. Let me read that. It says further analysis by the Daily Trust shows that the federal government will spend over 13 billion on the salaries and allowances of the ministers alone. This excludes Esther codes and other travel expenses and some other things. For example, we want to wait and see. We saw Wike's vehicle. We don't know whether the vehicle he used, whether it's a special dispensation because he wants to be a par with governors. They have all these kind of things. But from the look, from what I saw, and most likely bulletproof, you're looking at 350, 400 million per vehicle, if not more, which we jolly well could save from. But it's early days yet. But Wike's own, at least, we caught. And the feeling is that reducing the cost of governance is inevitable. This is not sustainable. Somebody is going to have to pay for that. And guess what? It will be you and I. This also contradicts the Oronsaye report that everybody swears by. And experts have also said that, look, experts that the Trust interviewed say that an overloaded cabinet is wasteful. Okay, and it says here now that ministers' earnings to shoot RMAFC's wages review. The new 48 ministers' earnings would go up when RMAFC reviews the salaries and wage of political office holders as proposed. No, that is in the works. So that figure is going to go up again. So that's where we are. Talking about ministers, Umahi said yesterday, no civil servant can frustrate me. And the story says that the Minister of Works, David Umahi, urged civil servants to key into his agenda. And he said that, I'm quoting him now from the papers, no civil servant has the capacity to frustrate me. You can't keep my file in your office for 2 hours. You can't try it. These new political jambites, if I would call them that, to realize that they need to be polite to everybody, both the workers and to the public. We don't want barking dogs at us. Wike started this. I mean, what's there to say to sit down for you to quietly say that I expect work to be done, I expect this to be done? You know, you don't go already, you're battle ready to say no civil servant has the capacity to frustrate me. It reminds me of Emefiele, where he said, those of you who want to fight me, come and fight. This is not how to govern people, my people. Not at these times. Not at these times. What are we told? We are told, those of us who are students of literature, that a tiger does not need to express his tigritude. And Sonny Ade put it better in a song, that if a fox has been dead for close to 2 weeks, you will never find a hen going anywhere near it. Our ministers should please know this is not a military era. You don't back at us. You don't back at the civil servants that we've employed, but you will be firm. And wait until things happen before you put on your battle gear. You know, and I just thought I'd mention that, you know, for all it's worth. But so that's the development we have from that. Brace up means maybe higher taxes, less money to get things done.
Let's go to the editorial in the Vanguard newspaper, page 18. Tinubu as oil minister.
The Vanguard is putting up a quarrel here, and they believe, like I believe, can I speak for Sheriff? I think like Sheriff also believes, if he doesn't believe, he'll say so, that there was no need, that, you know, it was inappropriate for the president to have appointed himself petroleum minister. They talk a bit about the cabinet, though, and I agree with them. It says Wike's infrastructural profile in Rivers State and his strong character are needed for Abuja's infrastructural rejuvenation. I agree with that. Wike is suited for that job if he'll just control his temper, control his language, and just go and get the job done. There's another issue that I mentioned earlier. I don't want to keep embarrassing him. He also needs to put that under control. I'm sure some of you know what I'm talking about. He said what?
He has a lot of, he's ruminating on things based on what you said.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yes.
He said that. He admitted that.
Yes.
That's one. See, you know. Oh my God, this job. The Vanguard also says that Senator Dave Umahi's appointment as works minister is also based on his own, what they call, infrastructural record. Okay, fair enough. So they like that. They're also happy, well, somewhat, that Wale Edun is a sound economist and long-standing Tinubu ally, and should do well as finance and minister. Let me say here that he should know what to do. Whether he'll be able to face up to the challenge of getting his boss to agree is another thing entirely, but we'll see how it goes. So they're happy with that, but they're worried about a few appointments. 3 appointments. The Vanguard says Nigerians are worried about. What really is former Governor Bello Matawale's merit for appointment as minister, while he has a case to answer with the EFCC? And so the question I would have asked, okay, let me rephrase it. Who cleared him? Because I think that before you are made a minister, you go through security clearance. If you have a pending corruption trial or whatever it is, surely you should allow that get to some conclusion before you now bring him on board. But like I said, the president has his agenda. He knows why he has appointed everybody. We've given him the powers, and so all we can do really is sit down, look. It says the most contentious of all is Tinubu's continuation of the discredited practice of presidents appointing themselves oil ministers. We have always frowned on this practice because since former President Obasanjo started in 2003, we have not seen any contribution it has made to the improvement of the sector. Then I'll give an example. They say here, the most worrisome issue is that while the National Assembly can summon ministers to clarify issues, they lack the nerve to summon president/ministers for the same purpose. Or let me put it in for those of you, this Turenchi, the National Assembly no get deliver to call the president to question on oil matters. So what that happens is that that one is covered by immunity, and that is the core, that is the core of our existence and development. So we've had President Buhari minister for 8 years. Refineries are not working. The supply was zigzag. We kept on doing subsidy. No refineries, whatever. We hope the same will not repeat itself. And the Vanguard now gives a final warning. They say Tinubu has more than enough on his plate as president. He should just appoint a substantive oil minister. And it's not too late. They are adept at juggling whatever. He can quickly bring one of the, or just move the man who is Minister of State, move him up. Okay.
I don't know why I think that the ministers of state, both Lopobiri and Ekpikwe, would be able to serve, would be able to play that role of the Minister of Petroleum, because to be honest, President Tinubu will not have time to oversee the affairs in the oil sector. He will not. And that's the truth. He will not.
My biggest problem in the social media and in the media is that when you say some of these things, there are some people who are just hell-bent, and sometimes it can be disturbing that people can see, I cannot see reason on something that is obvious. A man who is president,
he will not have the time.
Commander-in-Chief of the armed forces, is now again, move your shoulder here.
You are poking too much.
Is now again president of ECOWAS.
ECOWAS, yes.
Where is he going to have the time? That's why we had no development during Buhari's time. Plus, of course, Buhari also had the misfortune of being sick, quite a number of times. I don't think it's right, because with that, and this point that Vanguard made is very valid, that National Assembly cannot oversee that function. They'll just be harassing the ministers of state.
The fact that the president is the minister of petroleum just doesn't make him efficient or make the sector efficient. What it does is it leaves the vacuum of a minister overseeing the activities, and that sector being the live wire of our economy, the mainstay of Nigeria's economy, should have a substantive minister.
I'd like to. I'm sorry, sir. I keep mentioning your name, sir, but Dr. Christopher Kolade, but he's the doyen of corporate practice. I'd like to know if in corporate practice, in Quadry or Unilever or Guinness or breweries, you could be managing director and add the marketing function. No, you won't do that. You can't. I've worked,
You've been there.
Yes, I worked as a very senior manager way back in the 80s. You can't. I can't imagine that you'd be MD and marketing director, because the marketing and sales director, because that's the main driver of those companies. It's not possible. Are you telling me the MD of MTN will take on Mr. Toriola will take on the function of marketing director? He dare not. Sorry?
It's the fear of Dejani.
No, that hasn't stopped anything. Look at the look at the level of corruption, and the corruption will not be less under President Tinubu. It will not be.
Yeah, that's the biggest.
It's not going to be
actually
less in quantum. I'm not saying who is going to do what.
Yeah,
but it's not going. He can't keep his eye on the ball. It's not going to be less,
especially that sector. That sector.
Yes.
Okay, all right. Let's move on to our next story and our next paper.
Could you please bring his own shoulder here? Let's come and see.
So you can use it as pad. I mean. Okay, let's. Okay, I think I need more shoulder pad.
You need a shoulder pad,
Yeah.
because when I get agitated, my hand must go like that.
Page 26 of the Vanguard. Sanwo-Olu bars commissioners, essays from appointing PAs.
Beautiful. Bullseye. There is no, even at federal level, apart from cost cutting, it shouldn't have been in the first place that you minister will bring in what they call his own PA. No. The civil service is full of competent people. You can get your press secretary, you can get your PA, the assistant directors level you can pick from, which is even better for you because they are more functional. But what happens here sometimes is the PA is usually some political whatever, and his job is to run around, supervise Ghana must go and carry everybody along. That's what answer telephone calls. Minister will see you in number 2. So to cut costs, and I like what Sanwo-Olu did here, go to the civil service. Let me read the story. It says Governor Sanwo-Olu barred political appointees from appointing personal assistants henceforth. He should quickly do a phone call or do a cutting of this paper and send it to a guy in Abuja. Say, okay, well, this is a good way to go. And I mean it, And since the directive, it was gathered, has generated different reactions from the public. It's not from the public. It's from the politicians.
From the politicians.
They have some of
them.
It serves some of you right. Some of you who have been heckling us in the social media, thinking you be a PASA. Sorry, you have to go look for them.
No, honestly, it's
I have
just
to take that dig on them.
Really.
And I like that he did it. It says the appointment of reactions from the public, which view the appointment of PAs as a form of job creation. No, it's a job. It's a political whatever. It's payback, and we can't afford it. That's the problem. And so the policy was contained in the circular signed by Akim Muri Okunla, who is the head of service. Let me read in case there's any commissioner who says he hasn't heard. The letter says it is hereby notified for general information that appointments of personal assistants from outside the state public service by commissioners and so on and so forth in the discharge of their day-to-day functions is not in line with the structure and so on and so forth, and therefore has been banned. Remember that it's not only the commissioners that have PAs. The director generals, the DG of LASMA, the DG of this and that, all of them usually bring one or two people, We can't, politics is not employment. We would need to deal with that one day, Sheriff, to explain to people. You can't go into politics hoping that when somebody gets a appointment, then you have a retinue of about 5 or 6 of you. This thing should go all the way down to drivers. There are no drivers in the pool. This policy, I'd like the governor to also, it should go down. I don't understand why you'd be a commissioner, a minister for whatever, for 6 months to 1 year, and then there's one unwritten policy that says, oh, you're taking the car away, when you're leaving. If a car is bought, it has a lifespan, 4 years. After 4 years, you put it on the pool and so on and so forth. But here you have ministers, 2 years, they go away with the car. With the way cars are going now, the kind of cars these people want to use, these are the little things we need to do. So, well, we hope the governor will not succumb to pressure, though.
I hope so.
The party chairman would have. But knowing politicians, you know what they will do?
Yeah.
They start sneaking some people in through the civil service. Oh, yes.
That's very likely.
Yes.
Very likely. Unless there's an embargo on
yes, the governor needs to, he also needs to ban temporary employment for they call them, what do they call them now? Contract staff. There's very many loopholes he has to block in that regard. Everybody go look for work, I beg.
Let's go to the Metro page of The Punch, where we've got some stories for you, pages 4 and 5.
The Punch, and we also have the Trust, so that we can cover some parts of the North too. Okay, associates mourn slain senators' aide, demands killer soldiers arrest. Police arrest Rivers pastor, seal church over electrocution. What else is there? Widow musician jailed for dealing in hard drugs. Not much. Akwa Ibom man kills son, dumps burnt corpse in the toilet. Fear grips residents as louds operate under the bridge. Where is this? Residents and passers-by are gripped with fear as the space under the bridge in Abafemi Awolowo Road, Ikeja, has become a haven for rogues and mentally ill people. That is all over the state. We've said something good about the governor. Let's leave that now. But it's all over the state. PK says, okay, we've already done that. The Commissioner of Police for Lagos, Idowu Omohua, has charged prosecutors and investigators from different areas and divisions of state police not to be novices of relevant laws and codes for crimes in the state. A lot of the policemen don't know. One day I used Bobo for one policeman. I said, do you know there's a law that says you can't arrest a journalist when he's on his way to work? The man was scratching his head. He stopped me. I said, don't you see the press sticker? There's a law that says you cannot arrest me as I'm going to work. What nonsense? And the man quietly moved away. The gun was in one hand, the other one was scratching his head. Okay, so let's look at the Daily Trust.
Yeah.
What is wrong with this paper now? Baba got in.
Do you need help?
I don't need help. Okay. Woman charged with murder gives birth in Kano prison. Oh, we've seen that. You remember there was a top politician who had twins when he was in prison during jail time. Yes, now.
Oh.
Yes, he was in jail. A top politician. He became Baba Beji. Don't ask me how.
Yeah, conjugal visit now.
Anything can happen in prison. Anything. Yeah. Edo traditional rulers share 1.3 billion. Lucky. Police kill 2 suspected kidnappers, rescue victim in a no-go. Here we go again. You can't be directors for nothing. Wiki wants FCT. Why do we talk to people in such a manner? Back at them.
Mm-hmm.
It's impolite, and it's not. I don't think it's right. Maybe that's why I'm not. I could walk away from a job like that if I have a boss who I haven't even done anything at all. He's already backing at me. I don't think it's the best way to go about these things. Let's show people some manners. Troops arrest 39 suspected bandits. Father kills son, burns corpse over cassava in Akwa Ibom. Right, so there we are.
Let's quickly go pick up the Punch newspaper, page 7 this time. EFCC mom as Desani faces bribery charges in the UK.
I heard people, some were excited this morning and so on and so forth. The truth is this. Okay, so I heard one of your callers. He said that, the British police, they will do their investigation very well before they are not like the Nigerian. You are suspecting somebody of having collected bribes in 2015. This is 2023. It's not that. This is politics. This is going to ensure that Desani stays in the UK again for a while. Otherwise, this kind of sting or this kind of whatever should have been in collaboration with the EFCC with a view to getting her back here to answer these charges. So I'm not taking it until we watch the development. I'm not taking in by all this. By now you should be able to read the tea leaves. What the Western world does is they allow our people, because I know for sure that to bypass their eyes is very, very difficult. So they allow you steal the money and bring back to them. You should know that by now. I said, I know the British police are not going to spend 50 years or so investigating somebody who took bribe in another country. No. It's early days yet. Let's see where this is going. I think there's something fishy. There's something fishy about it. I think there's something fishy. And they say that Madueke was accused of benefiting from £100,000 in cash. I'm away cash, chauffeur-driven cars, flights on private jets, luxury holidays for her family, and the use of multiple London properties. Charges against her also detail financial rewards, including furniture, renovation work, and staff for the properties, payment of private school fees, gifts from high-end designer shops such as Cartier and Louis Vuitton. Do you know how much a Louis Vuitton bag costs?
I have no idea.
Shoe and bag.
I have no idea.
I need to organize for you to toast one of these big babes now.
Excuse me.
Benny, walule. Omo, walule. Even see a friend with his coat and the nice tie, he will sweat. You want to dare me? You will fall in love first too. At the ha.
It can't happen.
But do you know what they said, Louis Vuitton?
It's not going to happen.
Sheriff got a shocker. He almost collapsed. It serves you right.
Oh boy.
Also, quickly, Sheriff, you don't mind if I quickly read this story?
Yes, please. That will be our last story.
It says here, railway workers to get new salaries soon. I disagree. You see, look at the irony of Nigeria. We've been talking about this possible fraud in the railways, where all whatever is by cash and tickets going to Ibadan, Reading, Abeokuta, and so on and so forth. Tomorrow, when the whole thing collapses, remember it was a loan. The workers will not start demonstrating. That's what happened. Yes. Tomorrow, if the government says, okay, now we want to disband the railways, sell it to private whatever, and they sack all of them, now is the time for them, if it is the policy at the top, all these loopholes to be blocked, now is the time for the unions to say, but they're benefiting. They even owe me 300. How much? They want me change, huh? The last time I went to Ibadan. And about 6 of us, when we had the train is leaving, nobody remembered the airport. So here it says here that they want to get a new salary, which they don't deserve. If you ask me, at least those in the commercial department. Yes, they don't deserve any new salary. In fact, they should be fired right from the top. How can you be a managing director of railways and you give an instruction that transactions be done in cash in 2023? Excuse me. Well, let's go. I will leave you behind if you've not finished.
No, we're done. We're going now. Thank you so much for coming. Lagos, that's our show today. He's back at 9 for Diabumi on Daily Digest. I'm Sheriff. Please stay here.
Whenever I tell people I'm a full-time master student and a content creator, they go, huh? How?
And I want to assume that you would run because I want to give the listeners context for the conversation.
In 2019, you were running mate to Atiku Abubakar. What did you learn then that you will not repeat this time?
Yes, when is the president coming out to address us?
There's a few things. One, I have a burden and a passion for young people.
The fact that you have elected a man does not mean then you begin to order him around. The president will do whatever is good for the country at any given time.
Mr. Adeshino, isn't the president responsible to the people?
What should the next president do to root out stakeholders who are complicit?
You fire those that need to be fired are fired. It's looking like a brand new Chelsea, attacking with so much fluidity. And what can you say about that, Martin? I know you follow Chelsea quite closely.
I live close to the Chelsea training ground. That's what you mean by that. I'm not a